G'day viewers and welcome back to another awesome series of Blokesworld. And in this series we're celebrating all the great things about automobiles. From hot rods to formula racing cars. That's right, on this series we're making our way down here to Sydney for the Hot Rod and Custom Show, looking at some of the best hot rods in Australia and some of the greatest custom work you'll ever see. As well as that, we're making our way over to California, to Laguna Seca, to Allenberg's Racing School. We're going to learn how to drive some formula cars just like we do on PlayStation, to brush up our skills so we can race our Falcon station wagon. And speaking of our station wagon, you'll also see what happened when we raced it at Lakeside at the Nodder GP. So anyway, stick around, this is Blokesworld, and welcome to the Hot Rod and Custom Show.
Yeah, look, it's Andy here. I'm the show promoter for the Sydney Hot Rod and Custom Auto Expo over at Rosehill Racecourse. We took over this show. This is the original Sydney Hot Rod show that started in 1964. And so Don and I wanted to keep it true to what was all about. It's about meeting other people, sharing the passion. That's what it is. It's not about a trophy or anything like that. So the trophy is a bonus for the work they've done. But we meet here every year, talk about cars, life, and have a good time. And the cars are a bonus. Yeah, so this year with a couple of friends of mine have organised Nostalgia Lane, which are true cars, period correct. When I say period correct, nothing off the shelf sort of cars, things that have been built at home. And look, we had, I think, 61 entrants in that hall alone. So we spilled out to over 200 cars this year, which has blown us away. So we're lucky enough this year to have 5 unveiling cars. These are all new cars, just been finished. So what we do, we get them in early. People don't see them, like, not even the entrants see them. We cover them up. And we unveiled them on Saturday, 11 o'clock. And the reason we do this is it's a bit of a hype, brand new car, never been seen. It gives the owner an option to get all hyped up that day, you know. It's really special for him. It's hard work, some of years, 2, 3, 4 years to build these cars. So with the 5 cars, we started on one end, 32 3-window, 32 5-window, 71 Valiant Charger, all original, 34 Chevy Coupe, and a 50 model Merc custom. Man, the 50 model Merc, I was very fortunate to have that get built in my shop. So look, we spent 2 years on that car and enormous amount of hours and a lot of help. It's not a one-man show, but we've pulled it off and got it to the show. It arrived Friday morning just for the show, just been finished straight from the trimmers.
Yeah, my name's Phil Rosati. I've got a 1950 Merc, custom prototype, whatever you want to call it. But it's a car that I've put together for a couple of years and it's come up the way I wanted it. Charlie Hutton came in for 3 weeks and sanded the car whole back and spent a lot of time there and gave a killer paint job that you see there now. They used the PPG paint out of basically a black with a crushed glass in it, and that gives it that killer gold reflection that comes out of it. It's got a Keith Black aluminium Hemi, 572 with the Pro Charger, water meth injection, air-to-air intercooler, so it should be about 2,000 horsepower. The interior's got a carbon fibre liner on the roof, which we wrapped in the same beige leather. Down on the floors, we've got a sheepskin type rug. And again, the dash, I tried to keep it looking very original, but with a little bit of gold and black with it, yeah.
That car's just, it'll blow you away. He bought the car 2 years ago and it was just a rust bucket. Anyway, so he wanted to build a real nice custom. So 2 years, here it is. It's going back to SEMA in November this year to be on display.
Just outside of the Sydney Car Show at Rosehill Gardens in Sydney were the Freestyle Kings, putting on their awesome aerial bike show. Check this out.
Working on the side to earn some extra cash. I gotta make it now, or I'll spend it in a flash. 'Cause I ain't got no dough. Please, 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 it's got me on my knees. I wanna spend it all, but it doesn't grow on trees. I ain't got no dough. Drinking at my local and I hit a slot machine. Put my last nickel in and milk the slot clean. Now I've got my dough. Well, it's gonna take a lot just to bring me down. To turn this bad luck upside down. Come on, pretty baby, stick around with me. Don't make me watch, just wait and see. Well, it's been too long since I've had it in my pocket. I need to make it faster than a bullet or a rocket. 'Cause I ain't got no dough. That's right.
Don't go away, viewers, because we're just getting started at the Sydney Hot Rod and Customs Show. See you after the break. Welcome back to Blokesworld. We're at the Sydney Hot Rod and Custom Auto Expo. It's an annual event held at Rosehill Gardens, and it features some of the coolest cars you'll find in Australia.
There's a fire burning, burning right through my feet. I can feel it rising, baby, can't you feel the heat? It's got my soul and it makes me wanna rock and roll. Grab my hand, together we can rodeo.
The show wouldn't survive if we just had hot rods. So yeah, if you ever come to the show and have a look around, it's everything from hot rods, customs, street machines, motorbikes. We've got the whole lot here. That's how we keep this show flowing. There's such a variety that keeps everybody interested.
I'm a mechanic by trade. My father was a mechanic by trade. We had a really good interest in it. Built a lot of cars over the years. Helped a lot of people build a lot of cars over the years. We got a little family-orientated car club, the Rat Pack Inc. Just started a couple of mates of ours and stuff, and families involved, wives, kids, the whole deal, yeah. I've bought along this weekend, I got a 48 Chev pickup. My wife's got a 63 four-door Impala, and I just finished a little rat rod for my daughter. Bit of a tribute to my father. I lost my father last year, so it was a quick build as a tribute to him as well. So yeah, that's a 63 four-door pillarless Impala. The Impala had to be a four-door, had to be pillarless. I didn't want a two-door. I think the four-door, when you wind all the windows down, just looks killer. But I bought that for my wife for a Christmas present.
It was the week before Christmas. He said he had to go, we own a transport company. He said he had to go and do a job, and I said, are you ready to go? And he goes, yeah. And I walked around the corner, and next minute, here's my new, I call her Miss Daisy, sitting in the driveway. I was ecstatic. The best Christmas present ever.
So we're thinking about maybe on the boot lid, getting a hand scrolled, but scroll it as a tiki head. And also too, like, she's determined to get a tiki, she's going to get a tattoo down her ribs. So either way, we're going to end up for tiki somewhere.
And it's the wild man, mate. He's the best in the world. Straight out of Japan, Moon Eyes. Can't get any better.
24 hours a day. Now there ain't nothing more to say. If you don't get moving and pick yourself up, it's gonna be
Hi, it's Keith here from New Zealand. We're from Custom Willys Bodies in New Zealand, making 41 Willys custom fiberglass bodies. Stu Braincourt bought one of our bodies off us from Facebook, and it's just all snowballed from there to get into Australia. Well, I don't know why I started it, but mainly I just wanted to build something different nobody else has got. Wanted a sled, didn't have the talent to do it in steel, so I thought, well, I'll do it in fiberglass. 7 years later, that's the end result. We've managed to put a car to market. Yeah, well, you got to build a plug, which I basically just glued a whole lot of blocks of polystyrene together. Got out with a chainsaw originally to knock the big chunks off, believe it or not. And then I went to a stripper disc on a grinder and shaped it, and then started bogging it up. 140 tins of bog later. Yeah, we had a plug, bloody sore shoulder, you know. Interior, it's a one-piece fiberglass mould. Has all the dash, centre console, all that in place. All your seat mounts, everything was all part of it. It's already moulded into it, so, and that's all part of the deal.
Well, viewers, it's pretty crowded here during the day, so we've come back at night time and we can actually film these cars without people in the way. Special access when you're Blokesworld.
Some say she's evil, some say she's good, but I just think she's just misunderstood.
Ooh, tempting, viewers. It is a Ford after all. We'll see you after this.
Hey on, it's Graham here, back with Blokesworld after these messages. Is that it?
That's it. All right.
Oh, I would like it. Cheers, guys.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This year we've had clubs from all over Australia. We've had clubs from South Australia, Queensland, Victoria. So it's a big effort to have a car interstate to be driven, not trailered, with all their gear. So those blokes, you know, I thank them so much for supporting our show.
My car is a 34 Chev Coupe. It's a replica body. It's made out of fiberglass. It's been altered to look nicer, so it's got wider rear guards, a chopped roof, and it's made by a company in Shepparton called Fibre Chev. And they only like Chevs. They're not interested in Fords because hot rodding Ford is a major brand, but these guys just love Chevs, and they build this Chev, and it's just a really, really, really well made body. A lot of work, a lot of hours. The colour's Voodoo Blue. It's a Commodore SS colour that has been around for a few years, and I've seen them on the road, and they just sparkle and they change colours. It's just a colour that grabs you straight away, you know, and it's so when I saw that colour I thought, oh, I've got to have that on my car, you know. I kind of had feelings that I'd like to show it again, but I've got a lot of pressure from mates and that to drive it. So I will drive it. Look, I want to drive it. I didn't build it to show it. I built it to drive it, but it'll be more for like local events, not long distance stuff. And I'm also building a Chevy pickup. As you see, there's a few Chevy pickups here. And I've also dabbled in vintage motocross bikes. So I'm going to build this truck and put one of the bull tacos or something on the back of that, tie it down and go to some meets and just some hot rod runs with that, yeah. Awesome.
My name's Juno Beletic. I'm president of the Road Devils, which is basically a worldwide club. Started in 1946. As most clubs in the States started, guys coming back from, the war and stuff like that. We're not big, but the philosophy is quality instead of quantity, and that's a requisite. You need to have a car running and driving, and say you attend events, and that's what we do. We drive our. We don't trailer unless they're broken down, but that's what we do. We drive, and that's our motto. Shana, that's Muzz's car. That's 4950 Merc. It's been heavily modified. Still left-hand drive. As you see, it's all chromed and all that sort of stuff. The next car is Mickey Moon. He's got the 30 Tudor with a 351 Windsor in it with like a late model injection. Goes like the clappers. That's probably the fastest car in the club. But you also need stuff that is driven and it's just cool. Doesn't matter if it's not shiny, it's just cool.
G'day viewers, PSO here, Blokesworld drone pilot. I'm going back to Orange before the roofs jump out in front of me. We're going to an ad. Done.
G'day and welcome back to Blokesworld at the Sydney Hot Rod and Custom Auto Expo.
So hot rodding's been going for a long time in Australia, probably the late 40s. And that generation now, you probably are getting a lot older. So we're very fortunate through friends and texts and that we're still getting the young generation who's going to be the future for this show. Yeah, if we don't get that young generation through, there will never be hot rodding. Hot rodding will die, but it's actually growing because all the car people now who are in their 50s and 60s, their children are following through. So they're going to keep it alive. Well, hot rod and custom, hot rods are, most of them are a little car like an early Ford or a Chevy, and they put a bigger motor in it, take the fenders off it, and becomes a high boy, maybe a bit of custom paint, flames or something. And when you say custom is a full sedan customised. Anything like early Ford Spinners, custom lines, early Chevys, but they were a full sedan. Any sort of, let's say, from 50s onwards. In America, they did start customising cars in their 40s, but we didn't start that early.
Real meat machine. She's a meat machine. A real meat machine. She's a meat machine.
Look, I was lucky enough to meet these people in SEMA. It's the owner of Moon Ice Proprietary Limited, which is a worldwide company, Speed Equipment. And it's a Japanese gentleman. So we got together in SEMA and asked him would they like to come to my show as guests. And they're here.
Hi, I'm Shigesu Suganuma. I'm the owner of the Moon Eyes. The Moon Eyes has been here for 60 years. The founder is Dean Moon. Since he opened the shop since 1950 and being, like I said, 60 years. My part is only 25 years. Andy, in the beginning, he contacted us to come over and bring the dragster. That replica, the original dragster is the Florida, the Dungarrett Museum. We decided we built back in 1992. Then I started drove the car since 2003. My best is 921, 150 miles on quarter mile. Yeah, that's my best. Yeah. It's kind of scary though.
It's great to see the boys from Japan out here from Moon Eyes this year. It's fantastic. Yeah. This is my fifth time to the show. I've been lucky enough to build a factory right next door to Andy's Hot Rods and Restorations. Andy's the promoter of the show. Just a man full of energy, eh? Yeah. And every car is an expression of someone's personality, and I just think that's what hot rodding's all about, you know?
Yeah, so if you're watching this now, we're probably getting ready for the show for next year, so get yourself down here because you'll really enjoy yourself. So hopefully we'll get the dates in the next week or so and book it in for next May and come and see the Hot Rod and Custom Auto Expo.
Well, that's all we've got time for, viewers, but tune in next week when we race the Blokesworld Falcon in the Notta Grand Prix, a 6-hour endurance series for crap cans at the historic Lakeside Raceway in Brisbane. And then after that in this series, it's another bucket list moment. we learn to drive real race cars at Allenberg Race School's Laguna Seca Raceway, California. But if you don't want to wait that long, get your phone out and follow Blokesworld on Instagram right now. You'll see everything behind the scenes as it happens. Anyway, we'll see you next week.